Ebola is a pandemic that is not confined to one place. And just for context, there has not been a single reported incident of Ebola in Kenya, just for context.
Yes.
So the big debate is going on, yes. But that is the correct position.
Absolutely.
Number two, the Ebola situation in Eastern DRC is a source of concern for any country, including Kenya, that is mindful of matters health of its citizens. And the responsible thing to do when there is reports of such high-level infectious outbreak in a region where we have thousands of citizens, Kenyan citizens in DRC. We have soldiers in DRC. The most responsible thing to do is to prepare for any eventuality. And that is what Kenya has done. We have prepared ourselves adequately. We have taken command of all our entry points. We are doing testing of every person coming into Kenya from anywhere near that region. We are testing close to between 2,000 and 3,000 people from all our entry points every day. We have mobilized resources, testing kits, reagents, and all manner of people. We have trained thousands of staff, health staff, to be able to handle that situation. We have now isolation facilities, 23 of them across the country, in different parts of the country. And one of the facilities that has now raised a bit of controversy is the facility we agreed to set up in conjunction with the Americans in one of our military air bases. And why have we done that? We have a huge American military contingent in Kenya, number one. Number two, we have set up the 23 other isolation places in Kenya with the support of friends, among them the Americans, our own resources, but also with the support of Americans. The American government has supported us in this Ebola setup infrastructure, health infrastructure, to the tune of 1.8 billion Kenya shillings. And they did make a request to us to, in the process of setting up all the other facilities, to also set up one where they can use in the event that their citizens, their soldiers, some of them in Kenya or from elsewhere, if they are in a situation, then they can use that facility. For context again, even if the Americans had not set up that facility at the military base, if there was any American in Kenya, we would take them to a Kenyan facility. We would not throw them out, because the Constitution of Kenya tells us that we are responsible for the health of the citizens of Kenya, including those who are in Kenya at any one time. So what you see as a debate in Kenya is lack of information. You know, people who may not have enough information to understand what we are doing. If we don't prepare and a situation occurs, we would have to answer much more difficult questions than the ones we are answering now. The questions we are answering now are simpler. They are easier. But if we were answering questions when people are sick and we haven't prepared enough, then we would be answering much more difficult questions. Where were you? What were you doing? What did you do? You knew there was a pandemic. You didn't do nothing. You know? What we are answering, the questions we are answering now is that we are prepared too much. And we are prepared for even our friends. And you see, I ask the people of my great country that the American people and government have been partners with us on matters health for close to 25, 30 years. PEPFAR and all the other funds. American resources, American taxpayers' resources have been used to support Kenyan health infrastructure. It would be most unfortunate if on one request by the Americans to set up a facility at their cost, we would refuse. We would look very inhuman, you know? So the debate here is not about whether to set it up or not. The debate is, are we doing the right thing? Are we not? And I can tell you without fear of any contradiction, and I can look at everybody in the eye, Kenyan, including yourself, and tell you we are doing the right thing. I commend President Ramaphosa for South Africa's outstanding leadership during the G20 presidency from December 2024 to November 2025. Mr. President, you used that platform to do exactly what was required: to center Africa's development priorities, to press for reforms of the international financial architecture, international financial governance, and to ensure that the Global South was given the weight it deserves. Today, Kenya and South Africa stand together in advocating a reimagined global order, one built not without Africa, but with Africa fully represented, fully engaged, and at the center of it. We are not asking to be admitted to someone else's architecture. We are asserting our rightful place among the architects of the new global order. Our two nations have never been strangers to each other's struggles. Long before our high commissions opened in 1994, the year of South Africa's democratic rebirth, we were bound by the shared experience of colonialism, by the solidarity of our liberation movements, and by the common dream of an Africa that governs itself, feeds itself, and speaks for itself. Over 3 decades, we have built one of the most impactful partnerships on the continent, grounded in mutual respect, shared values, and a common vision for the prosperity of our people. That partnership was institutionalized through the Joint Commission for Cooperation in 2007, and today we have directed that the second session of the JCC convenes as scheduled following this visit. We further welcomed the ongoing work to elevate the Commission into a strategic partnership framework, a stronger, more comprehensive for the years to come. It is a profound honor to stand here today in South Africa, a land that has given the world enduring lessons in courage, sacrifice, and the indomitable power of human spirit. South Africa is living proof of what becomes possible when people refuse to be defined by injustice and instead choose to be defined by their greatest aspirations. The world watched in awe as this nation dismantled apartheid and built something more lasting in its place: a constitutional democracy grounded in dignity, human rights, and in the equal worth of every person. I thank you, Mr. President, and the people of South Africa for the warm welcome and generous hospitality extended to me and my delegation. It speaks to the character of a nation that has always understood the spirit and meaning of Ubuntu. As a statement to our growing ties, we have today witnessed the signing of 6 instruments on trade facilitation through cooperation in standards, regulation, and metrology, on shipping and maritime cooperation, and on partnerships in gender equality and women's empowerment, technical and vocational education, arts and heritage, and sports and recreation. On trade and investment, we noted with satisfaction the upward trajectory of our bilateral trade, which grew from US dollars 590 million in 2024 to $650 million in 2025, an increase of $60 million or more than 10% in a single year. This momentum must not only be sustained, but we must also accelerate. We acknowledge that real obstacles still remain, including tariff and non-tariff barriers, limited market access, and regulatory constraints. We therefore directed our trade ministers to dismantle these barriers by fully implementing the directives of the 7th Joint Technical Committee and Trade Committee. We further agreed to harness the Tripartite Alliance and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to expand access, reduce costs, and unlock the full promise of intra-African trade. Ladies and gentlemen, we took stock too of robust investment flows over the past 5 years, with enterprises from both countries now present across banking, telecommunication, fintech, logistics, education, aviation, and retail. This reflects the natural complementarity of our economies and the confidence of our private sectors. We welcomed the proposed Kenya-South Africa Business Council and commended the business forum convened alongside this visit, which turns commitment into commerce. We affirmed health, aviation, and education as strategic pillars of our shared development and are sectors that improve the well-being of our citizens, connects our people, and builds the human capital that will shape our continent's future. We commended the visa-free regime in place since 2023, which has measurably boosted tourism, trade, and cultural exchange between our two countries, and committed to resolving the outstanding challenges that remain. We were briefed in the earlier meeting that in 2025 alone, 58,000 arrivals were recorded from Kenya, signaling very robust engagement between our two countries. Today, during our bilateral discussions, the Ministry of Tourism of South Africa informed us that Kenyans visiting South Africa have increased by 18.7% since the introduction of the 90-day visa-free entry policy. This stands as a compelling evidence that when managed effectively, the movement of people across borders can create shared prosperity, strengthen ties between nations, and deliver tangible benefits for all. On peace and security, we reaffirmed that stability is the foundation of all development. We pledged sustained cooperation with the African Union, the United Nations, and other multilateral organizations united in the conviction that lasting peace is both a shared responsibility and a shared reward. As two of Africa's most influential voices, South Africa and Kenya, are determined that our continent should shape global outcomes and not merely respond to them. Let me close with the standard against which I believe we must measure everything done in our meetings. That outcomes and impact will shape every commitment that we have signed and every MOU that has been signed here today. That is the standard, and I believe Kenya and South Africa, working together in honesty and determination, are fully capable of meeting.